Howdy there, my Chim Chams. Welcome back to One Great Manga War. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day today. And today we'll be going over my top 5 favorite antagonists. And without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so before we get into the list, I must say that we are only going to allow one character per series, because some series would have several on the lists, for example like JoJo and Dragon Ball. I know, but it's better this way. It gets more variety and all that jazz. So without further ado, let's start with number 5. So at number 5 we have Frieza. Frieza is from Dragon Ball and is an absolute madman. Okay, this man is Space Hitler, and I love every second that he is on the screen. In Dragon Ball, he is such an unstoppable force, and it really shakes you to the core of how he is and what he does. He does very deplorable acts, and it's just really tragic having to see all the characters have to beat him up and characters dying trying to kill him, only for Goku to transcend past his limits after all the atrocities that Frieza's done and defeat him finally. And then once we get to the Dragon Ball Super manga, after we get past the whole resurrection of F stuff, he just keeps getting better. He's acting kind of like Vegeta was at the beginning in the middle of Dragon Ball, which is very interesting for who he is. He does not act exactly like him, but he has that same type of I don't like you that much, but I'm still gonna like sorta work with you. They got this really great rivalry going on, especially in the Broly movie. Oh my word, it is so good. So number 5 is Frieza. So at number 4 we have L, and L is such an amazing villain for Death Note. His ability to figure out how Light is actually doing stuff is honestly shocking. Going from the first volume and like, oh, he kills the guy on screen and he's like, oh yeah, well, I sent that in only this specific area, and it just freaking shocked the crap out of me that he was this smart to do that, and he knew what he's doing. And it was such a great game of cat and mouse up until about the halfway point when, spoiler, he dies. Personally, there were some very like specific things that they did to like make sure he would die, which I was not a big fan of. He definitely should have got Kira and not have had to die, but man, oh my word, he is such a great villain for the series, and I'm super excited to have him at my number 4. And number 3 we have the spiders from Hunter x Hunter, and it makes my heart gush just talking about these group of wonderful people. Hunter x Hunter does a lot of things in the shonen demographic very differently than what most people do, and it makes it very unique in that way, and the spiders are no different. The spiders honestly feel like a big family, and they're just such very well written characters. When one of the spiders die, they have this whole ceremony for him, and they mourn his death, and that's something like you really don't see that much in shonen. You just kind of see like, oh, he died, oh well, I didn't need him. But no, the spiders are very caring individuals for their family that they have created, and that is just something that is so wholesome in my opinion, and makes them a really great antagonist, besides from the fact that they're just super strong and have awesome powers and are really well written characters. But yeah, that's the reason why the spiders are at my number 3. So number 2, we have Yoshikage Kira from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. JoJo Part 4 is my absolute favorite, and the majority of the reason why is because of how much of an amazing character Yoshikage Kira is to the story of Part 4. He is a very different type of antagonist. You feel for him mainly because he just wants to live a quiet life, and that's something that's very relatable. Like, oh, I really feel for this dude. I understand where he's coming from. And then you're like, wait, no, he's a murderer and he likes hands, you know? And I'm like, oh, never mind. Okay, maybe he's not that great. He's not that good of a person. When he takes over his second identity, later part of the series, and actually starts having feelings for the wife of the old husband, it is really great. His whole thing with the whole main cast trying to hide and just live normally and continue what he wants to do, and he just nobody to touch him. He just wants to like be left alone. And that's something that's usually very different from most antagonists, which are usually trying to get the main characters, while Yoshikage Kira is trying to run away from them, which I think is a really interesting idea for a villain, and it's done really well. So yeah, number 2 is Yoshikage Kira. My number 1 pick is Johan from Monster. What can I say about Yohan that just honestly hasn't been said. If you have not read Monster yet, it is a masterpiece, anime or manga. And one of the main reasons why is Yohan. Yohan, like Light, is a character that nobody really knows who he is. He's committing several atrocities and getting people to do him for it. And the whole idea of Monster is like trying to figure out who he is and trying to like kill him. It's just really good. It's really freaking good. I'm trying not to like get into how great Monster is. I'm trying to deal with the main villain of the Monster. Yohan is a character that has a very dark backstory. He has like a 2-split personality. And when he was a little kid, he killed his whole family because of the monster inside of him. And as we see later in the series, it only gets worse. He has such a way with words. He's able to manipulate people to get him to do the bidding that he wants him to do. It is so enthralling watching it all come down. And you really do feel pity for him because of his darker side, the monster inside of him. So, to recap, number 5, we have Frieza, the maniacal space Hitler that is just such a great antagonist for Dragon Ball. And a great rival in Super. Number 4, we have L. L is one of the geniuses in Death Note and should not have died. Oh my word. He is such a great character. He really stops Kira in a lot of situations, and it really shocked me how smart he was. Number 3, we have the Spiders. They're such a really strong antagonist in Hunter x Hunter when they came in, and they have such a really nice dynamic with each other, treating each other like family, mourning the death of their teammates when they die. It's such a great part of the series. Number 2, we have Yoshikage Kira. Yoshikage Kira just wants to live a normal life, and you really feel for him because he just doesn't want to be touched. And unlike most antagonists where they're having to face them head on, Yoshikage Kira is running away, which is a very different type of thing that you usually don't see in shonen, and that's really interesting. And number 1, we have Yohan from Monster. He is a absolutely fantastic antagonist and has a great way he's able of speaking to people and try to get on their good side and do the bidding for him, and sometimes he does get his hands dirty, but you really do feel for him due to his tragic backstory of him killing his parents due to the monster that's been inside of him and him losing his other half. It's being trapped in the monster. So without further ado, guys, thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic day, my chimp champs, and get out there and read some manga, my friends.